love the idea of digital transformation, taking things that like kind of feel more antiquated and bringing it into that process of like, how can we talk people into not realizing that they need something? And I really got into marketing qualified leads and how do you really convert people. And when I fell into associations, it kind of naturally rolled out because I was like, this is cool. I'm figuring out exactly how to make an organization feel sticky. What is it that associations offer? What is it that they do for members? And how can we really, really show that value? And I like that. So I think AI does a lot better job at actually understanding if the content is decent, right? I think a lot of us are leaning towards AI to, I know I don't go to Google anymore. I jump right into Perplexity and because it's showing me the sources, it's right. And then I can talk to it and I say, actually, that's not what I meant because, I take these words and that's not what I mean. And so I think that like we have to do a better job of really creating high quality content that has that conversational piece that makes it say like you're not thinking keyword phrases. You're thinking someone's that's talking to your content. I think that's really hard for associations. We need to elevate our members for their expertise and really lean into subject matter expertise. So that's one of my big goals in 26 is actually having our committees come in and give us high quality content so that we're driving people to our website through that. Because if not, we're just going to really drop off. I mean, especially with how much people are leaning into AI for search. And I'm sure you've talked at length of the more fields you have, the quicker everything falls out of the ability to keep it current, right? And then are you pulling from bad data? And I'm saying, hey, you're, a student when you're actually 20 years down in your career, So I think you kind of have to balance it with like how
Hmm.
much data are we collecting and what are we doing with that data? Because you get to like the marketer in me wants to collect every field so I can really narrowly segment it and talk to them and be like, I know exactly what you need and what you do. I think I challenge on who something is designed for. People are
Mm.
really quick to say, yes, this is designed for every single jewelry appraiser, or this is designed for every single, certain type of member. Well, what age group? Gen Z is going to want this versus a senior appraiser is going to want this. And, are you thinking about the cost of cities? If it's a junior staff member, you're going to want to pay less to send them to this city versus that city. Have you thought that? I feel like anyone that knows me is going to be like, oh, she's suggesting this. But I'm always like, where are the easy Southwest flights? Because I can market and say, hey, you're in Chicago and this meeting is in Indianapolis. And do you know it's really cheap? Like, super cheap to get there, right? And so there's so many marketing angles. But if you're like, I don't know, we just picked this random city because they gave us a good hotel price.
Hmm.
I want to be brought into that decision, but let's talk about are we creating a brand experience that's designed for the people we want to get there? And I think that's the big thing is like I push back on what is that brand experience we're trying to create.
Hmm.
And or have we thought about who is attending it and what their experience is? So what are like we picked May for this. Why? What else are they doing in their life? Do we know that that's actually a good time, or is it because like the instructor worked for them and we have a short cash flow in that month? And so why not put it in May? And you need someone thinking about the whole brand experience of like what is every touch point
Right.
and how do they rate? Like if we just do a narrow focus on education, they're only thinking education, well, where are we touching them with this conference and this other thing and
Right.
this accreditation? And like, how does it all layer together? Because that's their experience. They're not just one single, it's when you kind of
Yeah.
start thinking in that, like, I'm just thinking about this one email campaign. Associations often are doing too many things, right? We're trying to run programs for everyone. We are trying to like
Hmm.
lay the track and drive the train and plan where the track is going all at the same time, which is just so hard. But I think And maybe it comes down to we get so stuck in like, well, we do all these things because the members want us or it's around our mission.
Hmm.
And we don't often stop to iterate and say, okay, can we just slightly change things? Can we move things around to get, because any project almost feels like it turns into that, okay, well, this is going to be 18 months and that's going to be 18 months and this is
Yeah.
going to be, and like,
Mm.
that's right. You just start getting into the pushing it down and pushing it down. And you're like, no, I need change right now.
Right.
I need to ask why right now and get things moving. No one wants to wait 18 months. It's a mix of quantitative and qualitative because you want to get a sense of where people are at. My big thing is like the people you aren't hearing from, I feel
Hmm.
more curious about. Who are the people who only do one thing a year and always renew? Or who are the people that aren't coming to your conference and why are they not coming to your conference? And what is the reasoning? And like, is that okay? And so I think that's where um,
And what do you do
I'm trying
about
to
that?
tap into more of that, of like, doing those interviews, talking to those members. Until you ask, you don't know. You just assume that they're just not engaged, but they're just engaged somewhere else.
Mm.
Right.
And their eyes, like they're just watching something else. And so if you don't ask and don't know, then you could be feeding them content and being frustrated as to like, why aren't they engaging in this? Let me change the message. Let me test. Let me do like, right. And it's just never going to work. Think about if you are targeting people,
Hmm.
let's say with college age kids, and you always run a conference in August, you're never going to get them. They're taking
Right.
their kids to college. They're doing that, and so like you have to think who are my members outside of their
Right.
work and who are they in their age group and what are they experiencing? I don't know if it maybe is the positioning of marketing, right? We need to think about it as branding. We need to think about it as like experience, but I don't think that it's valued across departments in a way that it really is looking holistically similar to tech.
So how
It
would you
should be having
rebrand
that.
it?
So like it's almost like a franchise approach, right? Like if
Yeah.
I have an
Hmm.
experience with your education department, that experience should be similar with your conferences and similar with your accreditation. And it's not just the colors, it's not just
Hmm.
the font or, but it's the feeling behind it. It's that whole experience. And so you need someone with that holistic look of like taking it on. But then you're also in the weeds, right? You're pulling the data, you're seeing is it working, you're understanding what are the entrance pages to your website and how can we drive traffic there. And I think when we allow people to show up the way that they can show up, it's really helpful. And I think in other times, like, what can we do for times when they are busy? Do you have options for micro volunteering versus big options, like full-fledged volunteering options? So really, it's almost taking a member-centric approach when you lead a volunteer group to say, like, what can I do to make you successful in that role? And how can I lead you? And it's brand experience.
I'm ready for it.